Wow. Hi, everyone. Welcome to RAREfest. My name's Daisy, and I am the communications assistant for Rare Revolution magazine. I'm joined today by Georgia, who is part of our Rare Youth Revolution team. We both have a rare condition. So I was diagnosed in my teens with cholesteatoma, which is a rare disease of the inner ear. And this resulted in me having to have surgery on my ear, and now I have to wear hearing aids. So that's kind of my personal ties to Rare, and obviously my work as well. And yeah, this is the lovely Georgia. She can tell you a bit about herself.
Hi everyone. So I'm Georgia, I'm 23 years old, and when I was 15 I was diagnosed with a rare condition called Friedreich's ataxia. It affects a lot of things, but mainly my mobility and my heart. And yeah, I'm a columnist for Rare Revolution, so
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Cool. So we're going to have a few sessions today brought to you by the youth team. This session is going to be really fun. It's a quiz, so have a pen and paper near you, and it's all about genetics. So we're going to learn some really interesting facts. And now I'm going to hand it over to Edison and Rafe from our youth team. If we can play the VT, please.
Hope you're enjoying the RAREfest 2020. We're Rafe and Edison from Rare Youth Revolution. I write a column for Rare Youth Revolution about my rare disease, and this is my rare bro. Hope you enjoy our Genetics 101 quiz. Now, let's get down to business. It's time for the questions. 1. Every cell in the human body normally has 23 pairs of chromosomes. Most of these pairs are the same in boys and girls, but one of these pairs are different. What chromosomes pairing do boys have? A, XX, B, YY, or C, XY? 2. Human beings share 60% of their DNA sequence with a fruit. Which fruit is it? A peach, B, a banana, and C, an apple. 3. Every living creature has its unique DNA. In 1996, scientists used DNA to create the first genetically modified cloned mammal, which was a sheep. This research taught us a lot about living science. What was the famous sheep named? A, Dolly, B, Polly, or C, Molly? 4. True or false? Red blood cells contain the protein hemoglobin, which is designed to transport oxygen around the body. A, true, B, false. 5. What is a telomere? A, the left side of a chromosome. B, the right side of a chromosome. C, the ends of a chromosome. Or D, the middle of a chromosome. Does a telomere lengthens with age? True or false? A, true. B, false. 7. Knowing what we have learned about cloning sheep and Christian, could DNA be used to clone early Neanderthal men and women? A, yes. B, no. 8. Is rolling your tongue a genetic trait? A, yes. B, no. Bro, can you roll your tongue? No! 9. Name 3 things you inherited from your parents. Edison, what do you think we inherited from our parents? My good looks from Dad. My brains from Mum. My good ears from Uncle Tommy. For the final question, the big old juicy number 10. Autosomal dominant compelling helo-ophthalmic outburst (HU) syndrome is condition like many rare diseases with a long name. Can you guess what this is? Rolling. Here are the all-important answers you've been waiting for. For question 1, it is CXY. Number 2, it is D, a banana. And can you believe that? We share DNA with a banana. 3, the answer is A, dolly. For number 4 is A, true, hemoglobin helps transport oxygen. For question 5, what is a telosphere? The answer is C, the end of the chromosome. For number 6, it is B, false, it shortens, not lengthens. For number 7, it is B, no, the bones are too old to extract good enough DNA. For number 8, it is B, no, many think it is, but you can learn how to do it yourself. I'm going to practice rolling my tongue now. 9. Many things you can inherit from your parents, like hair, eye colour, curly hair, and much more. 10. Looking at bright lights makes you sneeze. Achoo! If you want a kid-friendly way to learn about genetics and DNA, then I recommend you check out this book. It's really cool. Hope you enjoyed our quiz and learned something new. If you would like to share your answers with us, please go to Rare Youth Revolution on Facebook and Instagram. We've been Edison and Ray for the day. Good luck on your answers and bye. Bye!
Hi, welcome back. So that was amazing. Edison and Rafe, they're so cool. The best kids ever, the best quiz masters. I want to know how you all did. So if you took part in the quiz, feel free to type it in the chat and we can see who got a winning streak. Also, you can send us your quiz results and we're going to put something on the youth platform later on today. So it's really exciting. I didn't know that we shared our DNA with a banana. Now, I think I can kind of relate. Sometimes I feel like a bit of a banana, but I definitely didn't inherit a sense of humor. So without further ado, actually, the DNA doctor is on next. After our Mythbuster session, if you want to ask more questions about genetics, you can talk to Dr. Melita Iving and Dr. Lucy McKay on their session. I think they're going to be dissecting a strawberry, which sounds cool. So here we go. We're going to go into our next session now, which is called Mythbusters. So the idea for this came from having a conversation with the youth team a while ago when the Rare Youth Revolution started out. And we kind of had this feeling that there's a lot of misinformation and myths about rare disease and conditions, mainly because of the lack of education around it. And people just don't really understand, I guess. If you don't have one or you're not familiar with it, you wouldn't know sort of the ins and outs. And people can make some really weird assumptions about it. Something that I've kind of had to sort of navigate is people thinking that only old people wear hearing aids. So that's a kind of a weird generalized myth. I've had that before and people have been really shocked when I've like told them. It's like, whoa, okay, I'm not old, but that's okay too. Like it's not just reserved for older people. So that's an example that I've had. Georgia has a really funny, well, kind of funny story of an experience she had once.
Yeah, so one time I was getting a taxi to university and the taxi man said to me, so I use a wheelchair because of my condition, and the taxi man said to me, oh, my wife's in a wheelchair, you might know her.
Oh dear.
It kind of struck me that a lot of people do think that we must know other people that also have conditions or use mobility aids.
How strange. That's a funny one. So a lot of our youth team actually sent us in some really cool Mythbuster videos, which we're going to play to you now. If you have a Mythbuster and you'd like us to read it out at the end of the session, we would love to. So just type it in the chat box, and when it comes to the end, we can read them out and we can carry on raising awareness and busting myths around rare disease. So we can play the VT now. Thanks. Hi, welcome to Rare Mythbusters. In this video series, our youth team have taken the time to dispel myths and misinformation about their rare condition or disease, or someone that they care for. I'm busting the myth that you have to look or sound a certain way to have a hearing disability. Cholesteatoma is a hidden disease, which means it's hard to spot, and you could basically walk around your whole life and no one would know you'd had it or have it. If someone is quite softly spoken or I can't hear them and I explain that I can't hear them, sometimes they will speak up and that's problem solved, but sometimes because they probably can't see or don't understand that I can't hear them, sometimes this means that they don't change the volume of their voice. My advice would be don't assume that someone doesn't have a disability just because you can't see it when you first meet them.
My name's Edison, I am 9 years old, and I'm here to bust myths about xeroderma pigmentosum. My myth is that if your skin gets exposed to sunlight, your brain does not shrink!
Hello, I'm Katie, I'm 23, and I have a rare disease. I am busting myths about my rare disease, scimitar syndrome. I don't look like I have a rare disease that has left me with one working lung and a heart defect, someone once told me. To dispel this myth, I'm not always breathless or struggling with my heart condition. I've actually trekked up the Rif Mountains in Morocco. If you believe in your abilities, you can still enjoy hobbies and achieve your goals. Advice I would give someone with a rare disease: definitely talk to someone if you're struggling. Your emotional well-being is just as important as your physical health, and it really does go hand in hand.
Hey everyone, I'm Esther, I'm 12 years old, and I'm diagnosed with EDS or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I'm going to be busting some myths around my rare disease. The myth that I'm going to be busting is that a lot of people think that because EDS is a connective tissue disorder, that you're just flexible, like that's it. And it is a lot more than that. It's got a lot of complications that go with it a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And it doesn't just affect your joints. A piece of advice that I have for any young people suffering with EDS: make sure you do not let it stop you from achieving your dreams. I have done ballet all my life, and I love it so much, and I intend to keep doing it whether I have EDS or not. So just make sure it doesn't stop you from achieving your dreams.
Hi, my name is Neil Shah. I am 22 years old, and I have a rare disorder called hyperhidrosis, also referred to as excessive sweating, and I would like to bust myths surrounding it. Some of the things that I've been told include that it is not a real disease because it's just sweating of palms and the feet, and there's also secondary hyperhidrosis in which you have chest and facial sweating. And I've often been told that I should stop stressing and that it's not a real condition and I should not worry so much about it. Having said that, it isn't lethal, unlike a lot of other rare disorders. It is very stigmatized in society, and it does make a person very socially awkward. I think one of the ways to definitely dispel or debunk the myths that surround this condition definitely include a lot of self-confidence in the person that has the rare disorder of hyperhidrosis, but it's also trying to destigmatize it in society and understand that it is a condition that a lot of people are affected by and that it is fine to have it. You don't need to specifically go out there and make someone feel regretful of having this condition, as I have often felt in the 22 years of my life. An interesting anecdotal incident I like to share is when I was 8 years old, I was standing in a temple line in India in the scorching heat. And because of hyperhidrosis, especially in hot climatic conditions, my feet started sweating, and there was like a puddle of sweat that my feet were drenched in. A couple of other kids in the line started yelling at the top of their vocals, "Look, that kid just peed his pants," in Hindi. And it was one of the most embarrassing situations ever of my life. But I've grown from that. I've grown to accept and learn that it is the reality. And of course, I can't really control what other people are going to say or make me believe, but I have the power myself. Having said that, while I can definitely work on how I react to situations or how I feel embarrassed in a lot of these situations, if society as a whole understands that there are a lot of things that can be done to destigmatize this condition, it would be a great step for people like me that have this. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and have a great rest of your day.
Hi, I'm Dana, and I'm the founder of Cookies for Cures. We are a non-profit run by kids for kids, and we raise money to fund research into rare pediatric diseases by baking and selling cookies. Today I'm going to be busting myths about rare diseases. So, each rare disease is rare, so having one should be too, right? Well, it turns out that this is not the case. Each rare disease is rare, but having one is not rare at all. 1 in 10 people will have a rare disease, and around 300 million people are living around the globe with a rare disease today. Rare diseases affect us all in some way, so I think that we should all care about them. My advice is to care about rare and to be an advocate.
My name is Gemma. I'm 16 years old and have a rare condition called hyperacusis. Today I wanted to bust a myth people have about hyperacusis, which is that the pain people with hyperacusis get from noise is psychogenic and will improve using a combination of gradual exposure to sound and counseling. Although unfortunately most medical professionals still believe this, new research findings are coming out that show that there are actual neuropathic and etiological mechanisms responsible for the pain people with hyperacusis get from sounds. Currently, the 3 hypothetical mechanisms behind hyperacusis are 1. Cochlear type 2 neurons in the cochlea, which are actually pain fibers and account for 5% of cochlear neurons. 2. Middle ear mechanisms triggering the trigeminal nerve. And 3. The auditory signal going to different cortexes in the brain, such as the somatosensory cortex or pain center, rather than just the auditory cortex. My advice for anyone who has hyperacusis is to remember that you are the expert in your body. Don't let anyone tell you that your pain is all in your head, no matter what their credentials are. Keep researching and fighting for yourself. And remember that scientists don't even have a functional model of the normal human auditory system. And there are many chronic pain and inner ear conditions today that doctors now recognize to have physical mechanisms that were previously thought to be psychogenic.
Hi, my name is Lacey. I am 10 years old and I'm big sister to Mila Bell, who has Beckwith-Wheaton syndrome. When my mum was pregnant, they would always tell her that Mila Bell wouldn't have a good life and that she would be seriously affected by her BWS, mainly because of her size and the risks that come with Beckwith-Wheaton syndrome. I want to show people who don't know about Beckwith-Wheaton syndrome that it's okay to be different and it's okay that you are a little bit bigger. It just means you have a little bit more love to give. Even though Mila Bell is coming up to 1 year of age, she tries on my clothes as she is bigger than normal. Her condition doesn't change her, it makes her who she is. She's happy, she's loving, and most of all, she's the best little sister anyone could ask for.
Hi everyone, my name is Naji. I am 16 years old and my diagnosis is sickle cell anemia. I am busting myths around my rare disease sickle cell anemia, which is my condition that my sisters and I have been living with since birth. I would have to say one of the myths that I hear a lot of people saying, or a lot of people may think, is that only African Americans is born with sickle cell anemia. Well, that's not true. Sickle cell disease can affect people of any race or ethnicity. And if you don't know what sickle cell anemia is, sickle cell disease is an inherited disorder of the red blood cells, and it is more common in Mediterranean people, Caucasians, Indians, anyone that you can think of, or any race. And basically, if you really don't know what I mean by saying that it is an inherited disorder, both of your parents has the sickle cell trait, and 2 sickle cell trait genes makes a whole sickle cell. So that's how my sisters and I came out with sickle cell anemia. And personally, for my family, my dad has this rare gene which made only my sisters and only the girls in my family have sickle cell anemia, which is a shocker. Every family is different, and some family may have only boys that have it, or all of the siblings, but it is very rare. So don't forget to make sure that you look up on sickle cell anemia to get more information. Bye everyone. Mwah.
Wow, that was really incredible. I wanted to say thank you so much to the youth team for sharing those with us, because it can be really difficult sometimes opening up about the really sensitive ones, like Neil's problem with people outside the temple and his sweating. So thank you so much for sending those to us, and I think it's gonna be really good for raising awareness. Obviously you can have a joke as well. There are some funny ones in there, like my one's funny-ish, and George's she's gonna tell us something later, but Edison's, that's quite humorous. So yeah, it's really good to just be able to get the myths busted. So we've had a couple come in on the chat. One from Ian Stewart. You don't actually put what your condition is, so I'm not sure what it is, but you've said that some people say that it makes you sound like you're drunk because it may affect your speech. I think I've heard that before with some conditions, so yeah, that's a good one to bust. I've also got one from another member of our youth team, Katie, who you'll meet later. She has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and she wanted to bust the myth that people think it just means that you're a bit bendy. But actually EDS is a multi-spectrum disorder that causes many more issues and symptoms than just being hypermobile. So there's lots of really great insights in there. So Georgia was going to give us her myth now. Kick off, Georgia.
Yeah, so actually my myth was mentioned in the video and I didn't realise. I don't remember who said it, but she said it so much better than...
No, you could...
I'll repeat it anyway.
Yeah, do it.
Just that people think that rare diseases are rare, and that I think that can kind of lead to ignorance, because people think, oh, what's the point in learning about something that I'll never come in contact with? And that isn't true, because I think the statistic is 1 in 17 people have a rare disease.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that's worth learning about and knowing more about, because chances are you will come on with the rare disease.
Yeah, it's true. And I think we're going to talk a lot about that later and in our Hot Topics panel session. I think we're gonna focus a bit on education and how important it is within the rare disease world, and how if we just had something in place in the education system, whether that's charities like going into schools or just one lesson a year about it, I think it would be really helpful to learn about them. So yeah, check us out later on the Hot Topics panel. We're going to have a few more of the members of the youth team joining us there. And that's it from us this morning. So we look forward to seeing you later. Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.